What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Payne. Welcome back to another Street Fighter Duel video. All right, guys. Something I want to talk about, something I want to chat about with you guys, and I think this is an important topic. So everybody knows right now. Sorry, as I'm doing this with you guys, everybody knows that Elena has come out. Obviously, she's here, and we're kind of being put to the test. Okay, and what do I mean by being put to the test? Well, simply put, we are being told that it's hard to even say we're being told. I know for a fact we're being tested to see whether we as a community accept this brand new version of characters coming out as faction units, but as limited. So Elena will be the main test here. And what I mean by this simply is the devs are going to see whether we react well to it or not. And based on our reaction, they will, going forward, bring out more faction units like this or not. Now, here's my gripe with this, right? I'm going to just tell you guys how I feel about this real quick, because I think it's something that needs to be discussed. Nobody in their right mind wanted this unit to come out. And I'm going to be real with you guys, right? Before Half Annie, they should have had a dope unit drop. And I know because everyone's waiting for Fashion Ken and Wiz Jury, and they are the Half Annie units. But if you're going to have your financial test be a character that literally nobody cared about, you're going to do poorly. And I really hope the devs understand this. Because to me, it's one of those things where if we're going to be tested on something that we care, that you guys want to know if how we're going to react to, I think it's only fair to test us on something that is something that the community wants, right? So for example, let's say they brought out Oni, right? And he was a flame unit. And he was a limited unit that we could go for. I think that would have been a fair test. Because that's a very marquee character that is the final version of Akuma. And I think that everybody would have reacted a lot differently. And you guys could have gauged the releases of faction units, special faction units, in the limited pool, and to see how people would react to it financially. Because right now that's really what's happening, right? Everybody is... the devs are pretty much looking at this as a test to see, how are we going to react to this situation? Are we going to purchase this character? Because, for example, there's a couple bonuses to being a faction unit, right? Because you can use them in the towers. You can use them in Path of Trials now. You can use them in various different stages of the game where you normally couldn't use Master or Infernal. But there's obviously a downside to it as well. For example, you have Flame now that can beat up on wind. So now you have regular units who are non-limited units who can actually, do a lot of damage to a limited unit, which normally isn't the case because Infernal and Master normally only affect one another, and they're pretty much evened out across the board for all of their factions. So there is pluses and downsides to this. And obviously one of the biggest downsides was the fact that everybody, including myself, I shouldn't say everybody, but a lot of people, including myself, thought that because the unit is a faction unit, that we would see the change in how they handled the dupe system. And if you guys don't know what I'm talking about, I mentioned this, that I was hoping that you would need just a regular dupe system. The only difference is you pull from the limited time summons, right? I think that would have been the best way to have approached this, and I think you would have got a lot better sales by going that direction. But unfortunately, that wasn't the case, right? The case instead was, let's bring out a unit that, again, nobody asked for. And quite frankly, nobody really needs. And that's the honest truth about Elena, right? Nobody really needs her. She's just kind of there. Now, I will say it was very generous to get 2 free copies of the unit. So I can't hate on that part. That part, I have to admit, was actually really nice of them. So that, in that regard, thank you very much for that to the devs, obviously, right? But I think where they got it a little twisted is that they thought this is going to be a good test to see if people are still interested in buying limited units. Really, really bad call on their end. I really wish that they could have been a little more understanding of their community and a little more on the ball about who their units, which units sold best, right? If you look at their financials, and granted, this is early on, Akuma and Evil Ryu were probably their best sales. And that for limited units, right? Goken was meh. I looked at the sales; they weren't the greatest. I mean, they were still decent, but they weren't the greatest. And this, I will comfortably say, is probably going to be their worst sale month. Period, especially for a limited unit. Now, their saving grace is simply this: Half Annie is on its way. Fashion Ken is coming out as a most likely a legendary unit, as we saw, unless they decide to somehow change it again on us. But I don't think that's going to be the case. I'm pretty sure he's going to be legendary as he is in the gallery right now. And then we also know which jury is also being released, which obviously a lot of whales currently haven't through the substitution system. But I would have accepted Fashion Ken coming out as a flame unit over a legendary unit, and that should have been their real test. Him as a limited unit would have been perfect as a test. Because everyone wants a new Ken. Because currently the only Ken we have is MH Ken. If you don't have him and you're a brand new player, you're stuck with B Ken, right? Which is the B version of him. Fashion Ken would have been the perfect, in my opinion, underlying character to have for this test. And the fact that they chose to go with Elena instead is going to be very deceiving. And they're going to turn around and say, well, see, nobody wanted this character because we didn't get enough sales. And it's going to make us look like we're complete assholes for them trying and us not giving a crap about it. I think this is the direction they're going in. And I really hope the devs understand something like, I think it's unfair to do that to the community, especially a community who has stuck by this game with a lot of bad decisions. And I think to tack on another bad decision on top of the already existing bad decisions is only making things worse. So I really hope that the devs give us a better try with this faction character. Because I don't know about you guys, but I personally enjoy having these faction characters as limited. I don't mind the fact that it's 14 dupes. I mean, it does annoy me. Don't get me wrong. I think it's the dumbest thing ever. But at the same time, there's something about it that's different and refreshing, and I don't mind it as much because, again, they can be used elsewhere. And I think I just miss having the opportunity to actually use some of these characters in other places besides what we're normally used to, which is, in boss fights. So let me know what you guys think about that. I'm curious to see what everyone's mentality is behind here. I'm going to do this a little more free-to-play friendly and from a team's perspective. Let me know what you guys think about that, because I feel like a lot of people are upset, rightfully so, at the fact that they went this route, and I also think that it's unfair for the devs, and hopefully if somebody from the dev team is watching or somebody who can relay this to the dev team is watching, you guys should give us a fair chance. I think people would be more appreciative of this if it came through the right way, rather than us having to put all of our eggs in one basket. That is Elena, Summer Elena. Nobody cares about Summer Elena. No offense. Like, she's a unit that was not needed. Like, if you know anything about Wind Faction, you play this game long enough, Wind Faction, for every piece of content they do, they really focus on interrupts. Like the tower for Wind is never going to really, it doesn't need a healer. You just literally have to interrupt with Zhang and kill with Guile. It's not hard. So I'm really hoping that, again, that when they decide to do this, this little test of theirs to see if we were rightfully, if they were right about faction units not being good or whatever the case may be, I hope they really look long and hard at the community and their own, and what we like to have as units, and notice that we're all about the more popular units, right? So this event has made me not even want to try. I'm not going to lie to you guys. Besides getting the 2 free Elenas, which I am very appreciative of, I don't really care about the rest of it. The rest of it has been very much like just another big side of me. Because the character, like this character here, brings me no joy. It's so sad to say. Brings me no joy. So what am I doing? I'm still saving. I'm still saving up all my tickets. I'm at 412 now. I'm still buying every single day when I log in. And I'm still trying my best to wait for something huge to drop. and go for that limited unit. So whether it's going to be a collab or not, and I know a lot of you guys are still asking about Ninja Turtles. I have no idea, guys, what the situation is with the Turtles. Also, just so everyone's aware, the actual EX move for Elena, I'm not the biggest fan of either. I mean, because we have similar things to it already. Like, if you want to know what it does, here it is. Restores HP for all allies equal to 25% of max HP. So it's a huge HP increase. Let's put that where it's supposed to be, which is the best probably healing in the game right now. And dispels 1 debuff, increases effect resistance for ally fighters for 30 seconds. Like, it's a good one, but it's not a necessity. And I mean by it's not a necessity, why? Because you have her here, which I mean is way smaller in HP recovery, but enough still to be like a free one. And then of course you have Hot Potato, which gives you 5% only, but also gives you a 10% shield. So it makes up a lot of that for you in the shield itself, right? So again, like it's a great healing move, but it's not a necessity, right? So again, I'm not something I'm going for personally. Saving all of my EX scrolls, if you guys can see, I've been saving for a few, like I think 2 months now, 45, and I'm still continuously saving now as we go along. But let me know what you guys think. I think this is a little bit unfair. I hope the devs do bring out another faction unit as limited, but like a marquee unit, and let's really see then about whether the community gets hyped over it or not, versus somebody that most people just don't really care about. All right, guys, this is Payne. Hope you enjoyed the video. There's the puzzles, by the way, and I wanted to get this out there because a lot of people were asking my opinion on it, and I figured I'd make a video, and I want to get your feedback on it as well. All right, guys, I'll talk to you guys in the next one. Take care.